5. I'll also remind everybody, on your app, radio.com, if you don't have it, please download it. They have a rewind feature. You can miss anything that you listen to on not just our show, but Carson Anderson, Valente Enrico, and all the shows here on 97.1 The Ticket. All right. Yesterday, the football world, college football world, I would say was rocked, but I also said, whoa, this stuff is really serious now with COVID, because the king of college football, Nick Saban, it was determined that he had tested positive for the coronavirus. This came down around 4:35 o'clock, I think, and here is Nick Saban, thanks to ESPN, talking about getting tested positive.
We test our players every day. I get tested every day. I feel fine. I was very surprised by this. When we're in our own personal bubble here, I think everybody's in a much safer place. As soon as you travel, you get exposed to a lot more things and a lot more people. I personally think I did a really good job of trying to manage my personal space, and that would be what I've informed our players to try to do, because you have to respect this disease. So I guess my message would be adhere to protocol of what people are informing us to do. Wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance.
It's kind of amazing that, in a weird way, that this is the first case we've heard that football teams. Whether it's a coach or not, because they had outbreaks, when school started down in Tuscaloosa, where they were fining people big money, if they weren't wearing masks. Their neighbor's son goes to Alabama, and it was an S show for a while, and then that's back to normal. Kids are still getting to party. In fact, that country artist who was supposed to go to Saturday Night Live.
Was it Morgan Wallen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had a concert down in Tuscaloosa, and my friend's kid
went to it.
He went to it. Yeah. He's got pictures on Instagram with him. So the college kids are taking precautions, but they're still college kids.
Right.
Okay. Yes, Alabama did travel. They had to go to Ole Miss, and maybe that's how Saban got it. Maybe it was the handshake with Lane Kiffin. Maybe Lane Kiffin secretly said, "We can't beat him this way, but at least maybe he'll lose out." So here's the other thing: they have a huge game Saturday night against Georgia. I mean, it's 2 versus 3. He was asked whether he can coach Saturday.
I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out in terms of when the game comes, whether I can have communication with people or not. We'll have to research and sort of figure that one out. But we did have a plan for each coach on staff as to what might happen, and we just got to go from there. Just like if we lose a player, we have to do the same thing.
Next coach up, which I assume is Sarkisian.
It is.
As opposed to Bobby Lee.
But Sark is next in, I guess,
yes.
next in line.
But here's the thing. I mean, maybe it's a little different that he's older. But look, I could see Nick Saban, some RV parked in the stadium. Nobody knows who he is, and he's somehow on a headset with a big ass, television there, giving plays, telling him whether to go for 2 or you're going to go for 4 down here. Because I assume they're not letting him in the stadium.
Well, but here's my question.
Or put him in a suite by himself.
Put him in a suite by himself and make him one of the coaches in the box. Like, nobody else is around. Give him a couple of monitors.
Wasn't Joe Pod did that when he got his leg?
Yeah, and who was the coach at Liberty last year?
Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, he did it. And then they put the throne on the sideline so he could coach for that because he had a back or whatever. Yeah. So it's been done before. And if they can keep him away from everybody, why wouldn't they put him in a box?
No. And then, of course, Mr. Dan Mullen, karma continued. His game, the Florida game with LSU gets postponed.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to a friend of mine when the game was postponed, and we were kind of saying, hey, what would actually have to happen for them to postpone this game, right? Because I think originally for Florida it was 5 players. Now they've found there's 30 or 30 plus tests that have come back positive, so we can understand why they've canceled that game or postponed it.
Yeah.
What would have to happen for them to postpone the Georgia-Alabama game? And I'm not kidding you, 5 minutes later, my phone goes ding, and it's the Nick Saban has tested positive. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that might be one thing. So
I love when that happens. Well, not love when it happens,
right.
But when you think of something like when I was working in Washington in 1981, I was working in the newsroom at WRC. and NBC, the network, is in the same place. I've talked about this before. The carpet changes color, okay, when it goes from local to network. Anyway, so I'm driving into work that day, and I had tickets. It's a 2.5-hour drive from D.C. to Philly. I had tickets to the NCAA championship game between North Carolina and Indiana, 1981. I was a huge football fan because my cousin went there. Anyway, so I'm driving to work. I said, well, they gave me permission to leave early, get out of there at 5:30, drive to Philly, and be there for the game. What could happen? Doesn't he get shot? Sure enough, you hear the bells, the AP machines. That's when Hinkley shot Ronald Reagan. I couldn't go. I had to stay. This is ridiculous. So that happened to me. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. Now, we joke about this, but this also shows how smart the SEC was
for the bye weeks.
For the bye weeks, and how behind the eight ball the Big Ten is right now. Because if this happens to the Big Ten, there's really not much wiggle room for they to play these games unless they move the conference championship from the... They can't, because then it's in bowl season.
Right, well, they can't because the playoff committee meets on the 20th, or makes their announcement on the 20th, and the Big Ten championship game is the 19th. Right. So they're locked into 9 straight weeks.
Right.
Yes.
I would like... Why are they locked in? This has been, our lives and everybody's lives have been all about adjusting. These people this committee has to meet before Christmas or the world's going to end.
The college football world will implode upon itself.
Yes. Look, unless they agree that we push the playoff and we push everything back, which I have no problem with doing that.
So here's the issue, is everybody wants to utilize January 1st, right? That is college football, that's your college football holiday. And so they want to be able to have that, and you can't have the announcement come on the 27th. I mean, you could, but then all of a sudden everybody has to scramble to try and figure out how they're going to get to that city if they still want to play
for
on the
1
1st.
year you don't play on the 1st. Oh, I mean,
the NBA Finals.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's why.
January 1st doesn't mean as much as it used to because the playoff games, the semifinals, usually aren't on January 1st.
Right. Well, let me ask you guys something.
Well, they were last year. Yeah, they were last year.
I think a great bet for a sports book to put up would be, do you think this next Super Bowl will be played on the date that it is scheduled to be played on? And put odds on that? And I would bet that no. I think ultimately things are going to get kicked back because they would rather have it than not have it because they're stuck to a date.
Right, but the NFL, I agree with you, but the NFL is so stubborn. They'll say, you know what, we're going to do it anyway. If a couple of teams miss
can't participate.
Well, can't participate. A few teams, miss some guys, get sick and they can't play. Well, tough.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already seen that with New England.
Right, that's the way the NFL is. I don't think it's correct. I would rather, I think, Gov, you're right. They could move it back if it happens. But no problem with it. And I think they are ready or able to do it. And you know what? Even if they have to move it to football, even if they moved it to March, the Super Bowl, what's the big deal?
Yeah, they're still going to get the views.
Right. You can still have your draft in late April if you wanted to do it because of that. Guys can still work out.
Well, you got the extra week, too, in between the Super Bowl and conference championships. That's the first thing they're going to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So, they've done that before. They did for 9/11.
And I said this early on, the Big Ten should be starting this weekend. And that would have allowed them, if they want to get the 8 games in the one championship game with a bye, this would have been the weekend where they would have to have done that.
I think they're being greedy with the 9th game for everybody else besides the championship. I mean, there's no reason that this team's going to play a 9th game. We really need to see Rutgers play Northwestern the same week as the Big Ten
It's not necessarily
game.
about, and it's not about the broadcast because nobody's going to watch that. But it's about just giving the kids that extra opportunity to go out on the field and play. I think there's a lot of kids that this is their last time, or maybe their last home game, their last game in that uniform, and they want to be able to play that.
Our telephone number, 248-539-9797. What should the Big Ten do? Should they be prepared to only go 8 games, 7 games? Or, you know what, we're going to just have to go along with the NCAA, kick the can up a few weeks, because that's what they're going to have to do. And I don't understand how the hell Saban's going to be able to coach these games. I think they'd let him do what he wants. Have the phone.
Speaking of that,
be him on on Zoom.
What's it been? 21 straight games where he's played one of his assistant coaches.
Yeah,
If Kirby's smart.
Yeah, we'll get into that coming
Yes.
up next. 97.1 The Ticket.
All right, so the pandemic has definitely been stressful for everyone, right? I mean, I know it has been for me, and for some, that stress can actually lead to hair loss. And hair loss is a big deal, and here's the thing, you don't have to suffer from thinning hair. Dr. Berkowitz from Michigan Hair Restoration is one of the most recognized experts in the country on hair restoration. For over 25 years, he has performed thousands of procedures and over 2 million grafts. He is definitely the surgeon you can trust to restore your hair and your confidence. And what's really amazing is that he actually provides the most advanced hair restoration techniques available. So that means he's going to work specifically with you to determine the procedure that will get you the results that you want to achieve. You can also download his book, No Hair, that's K-N-O-W Hair. It's a comprehensive guide to all things hair restoration, and it's available on MichiganHairRestoration.com. Now, here's the part you definitely don't want to miss. For a limited time, Dr. B is offering 97.1 The Ticket listeners $1,000 off retail price. That's $1,000 off plus 0% financing on your hair restoration procedure. It's the perfect time to schedule your appointment at MichiganHairRestoration.com. And remember to take advantage of Dr. B's limited time offer. Mention my name, Heather, or 97.1 The Ticket.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Comcast Business. No accidents to deal with on your drive this morning, but traffic volumes are building through that work zone in Troy, 75 southbound from Long Lake to Big Beaver. Today, businesses are starting to bounce back, but what if you could do better than that? What if you could adapt and find new ways to succeed with new customers? Well, Comcast Business wants to help you do just that. Learn how you can not just bounce back, but bounce forward at ComcastBusiness.com. I'm Michelle Penny with traffic.
Building a world-class sports station in a world-class sports city.
This Radio.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Taylor Chevrolet.
This is Tiki Barber with a Radio.com Sports Minute, sponsored by NHTSA. Never try to beat a train across the tracks. Stop. Trains can't. The NCAA has been under scrutiny all year long for a variety of issues, from name, image, and likeness confusion to a lack of guidance during the coronavirus pandemic. But now there's a budding movement amongst the Power 5 schools in college football to break away and form their own division under the NCAA umbrella, would give them more power and economic autonomy. According to a survey done by the Knight Commission, 61% of schools support the idea. The survey response, which is not yet a proposal, would be radical for the governing body, but it seems necessary given how major college sports are inching closer to the appearance of a professional game. Yes, it's a slippery slope, but probably a risk worth taking. I'm Tiki Barber.
Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today. Auto Parts. Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top. You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
I wake up early, do a little studying, take the dog out, finish that audiobook, finish that workout, then stop by McDonald's for breakfast and somehow manage to do it all before that 10 a.m. meeting feel. There's a meal for every morning at McDonald's.
Get all your favorites from the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu, like the sausage biscuit, sausage McGriddles, or crispy hash browns. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
Sports are back, and that means you need to get down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge inside MGM Grand Detroit. There's there's no reason to call your local bookie anymore when you can just go down to the BetMGM Sports Lounge and place real money wagers on all the action. You can stop by anytime and place your bets at the live betting window, or do what I did and go to one of the easy-to-use self-service kiosks. The BetMGM Sports Lounge welcomes fans back to the excitement of a full betting menu 7 days a week. Whether you live and breathe sports, or you're just looking to place a wager on your favorite team, the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit is ready to take your single-game bets, along with parlays, props, future bets, and more. And don't forget about those teasers. You can take two of your favorite teams and tease them together and have a bet with two of your favorite teams at the same time. It's pretty cool. There's no better place in Michigan to celebrate the return of major sports. Stop by the betting window or the self-service kiosk anytime to get a piece of the action. Get ready to believe in your game again at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at MGM Grand Detroit. Must be 21 or older.
I didn't feel so well, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal data is being bought and sold. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
What are you waiting for? It only takes an hour for you to have your child's heart screened. Get your kid's heart checked at the Ernst Cardiovascular Center at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak. Details at 971theticket.com. 971 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Tony and Jansen.
248-539-9797. Still had the $2 grand slam. Coming up in about, if my math is correct, about 33 minutes. We're talking about Nick Saban testing positive for the coronavirus 2 days before the big Alabama-Georgia game. They haven't played each other in the regular season in a while. So this is going to be a big game nonetheless. And now it becomes a huge game. And you brought up
Remember Stafford played in the blackout game against Bama.
Yeah.
That was Nick Saban's coming out party for Alabama.
Oh, you mean...
How'd